Hello and welcome to Joy News at 6. The news is live on Joy 99.7 and hits 103.9 FM in Accra, in Kumasi on Love 99.5 FM, and over 30 affiliates across Ghana's 16 regions, including Shine FM Akachi, Radio Max Takrady, and Ridge in Tamale. Get radio, TV, and online content on the myjoyonline.com interactive app for Android and iOS devices. Coming up, Savannah Regional Security Council deploys heavy security to fish out terrorist infiltration in the wake of migrant influx at the Ghana-Burkina Faso border.
Security is there this evening, and to make sure that we are able to get the men who are visiting them in the evening or in the night.
Also, taxi drivers in the Greater Accra region to be migrated onto a ride-hailing app in the coming months as part of government's efforts to digitize operations of commercial vehicles.
And you'll be able to call them just like you call Ubers to your homes and all of that. It's a practical solution to a practical problem.
In business,
businesses to start paying growth and sustainability levy from June this year, despite new taxes taken off in May. We have details on the Joy Business Report.
Also, deposed Minority Chief Whip Muntaka Mubarak faces stiff opposition as he vies for his 6th term for the Asawasi seat in the NDC primaries.
We haven't had much, so inshallah, when they say change, they mean progress for the people of the constituency.
For you to get people to be continuous supporting for 2 decades, it means there's something you are doing right.
I am Maame Esi Thompson. Please stay for details. In our first story, the Savannah Regional Security Council has deployed heavy security to refugee camps in the central Gonjo district to fish out terrorist infiltration following the influx of migrants at the Ghana-Burkina Faso border. Residents of Ofoso have been expressing fear for their lives and property with the presence of over 500 migrants in the community. Regional Minister Saeed Jibril told Joy News the police have been screening the male migrants who return to the community at night in order to allay the fears of residents.
We want to do screening of those refugees by Ghana Immigration Service. So what we are trying to do now is that we'll make sure that security is there this evening, and to make sure that we are able to get the men who are visiting them in the evening or in the night under the cover of the darkness. This is what we've been told. And so maybe when we get 1 or 2 of the men from there, we can have a lot of information as to what is going on in that community. But for now, we've engaged the chief who has brought his relatives into that community, and that has led to the influx of these other ones from that particular village in Burkina Faso.
Well, the Ghana Refugee Board says it has registered 2,000 refugees. However, it says it will not screen the migrants without police protection. Tete Paddy is Executive Secretary.
We've registered so far over 1,000 Burkinabés who have actually gone through the right process. But we also know that there are several more who are coming in, given that the situation is not getting any better. But we do not compromise the procedures at all, and make sure that whatever needs to be done to maintain our own safety and that of the refugees is done. So the straight answer to that group is that not yet, we've not attended to them. We don't go into the field without security.
Tete Paddy is Executive Secretary at the Ghana Refugee Board. Now, there's growing concern over the latest report by the Ghana Statistical Service showing an increment in the rate of youth unemployment from 19.5% to 25% in just a year. The report disclosed that 1 out of 4 unemployed youth are neither in school nor undergoing any form of training. Reacting to this, security analyst Dr. Ishmael Norman says these vulnerable youth can easily be recruited to engage in criminal activities.
This is a potential cohort of people that can easily be exploited because they are very vulnerable to all kinds of encroachment, including terrorists, including vigilantism, particularly coming to 2024 election, and so many other criminal vices that people can basically exploit them for.
Dr. Ishmael Norman is security analyst. Now, taxi drivers operating here in the capital, Accra, will in the coming months be migrated onto a ride-hailing app as part of efforts to digitize the operations of commercial drivers. Vice President Dr. Maame Esi Thompson, who announced this, said the initiative arose out of complaints by some taxi drivers that their businesses were being taken over by ride-hailing companies. Dr. Thompson spoke at a conference at the Church of Pentecost, Ghana.
In the next couple of months, we will be able to place our taxis, at least in Greater Accra to start with, all on an Uber-like platform. And you'll be able to call them just like you call Ubers to your homes and all of that. It's a practical solution to a practical problem. And that is the sort of thing we as politicians should be focusing on. Trotros will come later on, VIP buses, Ayalolo, Metro Mass. The whole public sector is going to go on, and private sector transport is going to go on what we call a tap-and-go system.
You advised President Dr. Maame Esi Thompson. Now, the Attorney General has disclosed his case against Chinese national Aisha Wan, alleged to be a notorious illegal mining operator. Deputy AG Alfred Chiayebwa made this announcement after the state's 11th witness had finished testifying. He, however, informed the court of a plea bargaining agreement reached with Wan, in which she admits to committing immigration offences. Legal Affairs correspondent Joseph Akable reports.
The Chinese national is in court on charges including undertaking mining operation without a license, facilitating the participation of persons engaged in illegal mining operation, illegal employment of foreigners, and entering Ghana while she had been prohibited from doing so. 11 witnesses have so far testified in support of this case. Ms. Huang on Wednesday afternoon told the court about her decision to plead guilty to the offense of entering Ghana while she is prohibited from doing so. This offense carries a maximum sentence of 1 year, but a minimum fine of 1 million cedis can be imposed. The court has deferred sentencing since she has been asked to open her defense in respect of the mining charges against her because she maintains her innocence.
Government says it is hopeful of receiving the needed assurance from the Paris Club to pave way for an IMF bailout. The lack of a clear assurance from the club over Ghana's external debt restructuring program is the stumbling block to assessing a 3 billion loan from the IMF. Speaking to journalists in Parliament, but Deputy Minister for Finance Dr. John Kuma said he cannot give timelines, but is confident the assurance will be given.
Ghana and IMF are both committed to have a program before the end of the year. In fact, she actually indicated the time, not just saying close. Said we both hope to work together to reach a program.
Dr. John Kuma is Deputy Minister for Finance and MP for Ejiso. Now to our election headquarters. The race for the Asawase seat has never been more challenging for Mohamed Muntaka Mubarak. With 5 terms under his belt, he now faces stiff opposition in his 6th bid from a young, relatively unknown activist, Musawood Mubarak, who is threatening to unseat him with his Mass for the Masses campaign message. Nana Ojima has been exploring this.
The front of the NDC in Asawase constituency is divided among 2 factions, with constituency chairman Faisal Dauda leading one front and MP Muntaka Mubarak heading the other. Masawood made a name for himself in 2018 when he filed nomination to contest the primary but was disqualified at vetting.
If you look at the previous attempt that I made, it was bedeviled with things that were not pleasant.
Under a campaign dubbed Mass for the Masses, the branch executive for the NDC is prioritizing human development when he wins the seat.
Over the 18-year period of the incumbent MP, we haven't had much. So inshallah, when they say change, they mean progress for the people of the constituency.
The incumbent MP, Muntaka Mubarak, is in the race to secure a 6th term, and winning the upcoming primary will make the task easier.
For you to get people to continue supporting you for 2 decades, it means there's something you are doing right. And for me, I only thank Allah for all what He has done for me. And by this support, I know by the grace of God, Allah is not done with me.
And that report was put together by Love FM's Nana Yao Jima. Well, Joy News, your election headquarters, will bring you all the action on May 13. And that's how we wrap up the bulletin. In our top story here, the Savannah Regional Security Council has deployed heavy security to fish out terrorist infiltration following migrant influx at the Ghana-Burkina Faso border. Business is up next on the Super Morning Show.